Welcome to Libby's Leadership Lab. I'm Libby Gill, and I'm here to help you level up your leadership skills so you can create the professional life you really want without sacrificing your personal life. I've been guiding women executives and entrepreneurs for more than 30 years. First, as a C-suite corporate exec, heading communications at 3 major Hollywood studios, and now as a business owner and leadership coach. So let's get started. It's time to invent your future. Welcome to the Leadership Lab, everybody. I'm so glad you're here because we're going to talk about something that is on everybody's minds and also get some solutions for it, and that is uncertainty. My friend Meridith Elliott Powell is here, and she wrote the book on thriving through uncertainty. So hello, Meredith. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Well, I'm excited to be in the lab and talking about one of my favorite subjects, uncertainty.
So now obviously this is an uncertain time, but what was the spark that made you think, I've got to write about this now, and that got you going?
Well, it's funny because I really started to write about uncertainty in good times, because the spark for me was the fact that even in good times, if we can all remember back to the good times when the economy was rocking, when I would talk to business owners and leaders, and I'm sure it was the same for you, Libby, and probably all of your listeners, and you would ask people how things were going, people would say things are good, things are great, but this uncertainty. Uncertainty has always been this thing that we have attached negativity to. Yeah. And it's something that we just wait to show up to stop us dead in our tracks. And I kind of got fascinated by that. And I started to wonder, what if uncertainty wasn't a negative? And what would happen in our businesses and our lives if we could flip the script on that, if we could see the opportunity in uncertainty? And down the path I went.
Very good. Because it's not like we haven't been through change. This is more dramatic than usual, granted, but we've all been through these periods of massive personal and professional upheaval. So, but we do tend to think of it as a bad thing or a scary thing or something that's going to smack us upside the head unexpectedly. So how did you make the switch, the flip over to uncertainty can be good for you?
Can be a positive. Well, it's kind of along the lines of some of the things that you're talking about, because even before the pandemic hit, and let me tell you, I did not see the pandemic coming. So
that would have been tough.
But I would talk to people about uncertain times, things they'd gone through. And anybody that had been through some extreme level of uncertainty always looking back, could tell you something very positive that came out of it. Like they'd had a tragedy in their family, or they'd been diagnosed with a sickness, or they declared bankruptcy, or they'd been fired. And if you left enough time behind it, there would always be a story coming that was, but really it was something that changed my life. My husband and I had that. His dental office had been flooded out. And honestly, it turned out to be the greatest thing that ever happened to us. And so that just made me wonder, why did some people see uncertainty as a positive? And so I started to look for businesses and companies that maybe ran their organizations like that, really used it as strategic advantage. And I uncovered 9 companies that have been in business since late 1700s, early 1800s, and they're still in business thriving today. And just so you know, in their history, they've survived world wars, economic depression, even a pandemic. But in the things that they've come through, what we're going through now is nothing.
It's nothing. That's why you see the little meme. Our grandparents went to war. We sit on the couch.
Right.
It's kind of, yeah. I mean, we're mostly, and God knows people have lost people. So I don't want to make light of that. But most of us are kind of cruising through and watching a lot of Netflix. So what was your favorite story out of all the stories that you unearthed?
Yeah, it's really hard because I have so many that are my favorites. But if I had to nail it down to one, it's Procter & Gamble. And Procter & Gamble was incidentally, they started in the early 1800s by 2 men who married sisters. One sold soap and the other sold candles. They competed for wax. So their future father-in-law said, boys, you really ought to start a business. And P&G was born. And my favorite story from them is right from the beginning. they made it a founding principle that the way that they would be relevant in the marketplace is they would always talk and listen to their customers. I mean, their history is fascinating because everything they've ever developed has been from listening to customers. But their very first branded product was soap. And they differentiated themselves in the marketplace because what people were saying about soap back then was they loved soap. But the problem with soap was you would drop it in the water and you couldn't find it. Like, you'd have to feel around. So if anybody's old enough to remember when Ivory soap, the tagline when I was a kid, and Ivory soap is still on the market today, but it was tagged as the soap that floats.
I remember it floats. Yeah.
And by the middle of the 1800s, Procter & Gamble was $1 million company.
Yeah.
But
and
you
everybody
can see
followed them.
They've moved through every change by really being relevant. And I love that story because it's so simple, but so powerful.
It's so interesting because often those simple solutions are the ones that people embrace. It's like, why didn't I think of that? It makes eminent sense. Just make it
I think you're making such a great point, because I think one of the biggest things I found from the book is people complicate uncertainty. We don't think it can be that easy to get through it. Now, it's simple. I probably shouldn't say it's easy because it takes a lot of courage and a lot of hard work, but it isn't complex.
Right. And just the listen to your customer, which we've all heard, but they actually did it and then acted on it. So that's sort of brilliant and simple. Tell me another quick snippet.
Yeah. So another one would be, I love the fact that you talk about going up against tough times. Jim Beam is one of the companies. And can you imagine running Jim Beam and prohibition hits the United States?
Right.
And literally, everything was shut down completely overnight. But Jim Beam at the time, the head of the family, he just had this relentless vision that, first of all, he believed that prohibition wouldn't last in the US. And he did whatever he needed to do to keep the company going. They actually moved from Kentucky to Florida and grew citrus. But he always kept the recipe a secret and kept telling the family they will be back again. They will be the #1 company in the distillery business. He kept that vision alive and kept the hope alive, so much so that when prohibition came down, they were opened almost overnight and back in production before any of their competitors. And it really speaks to the power of belief, of passion for what you do, and commitment to it. And that how important it is to articulate the future for people that work with you in times of uncertainty.
Right. That's fascinating. So is it resilience? Is it bouncing back? Is it looking for the opportunity? Or maybe it's all of those things?
I was going to say absolutely. Absolutely, yes. There's actually a 9-step formula that you've got to follow, and the steps build one coming right after the other. But, if I had to say really, 3 of my favorites that really come right at the beginning of it, that if you put into place are powerful, is number 1, you do have to have that relentless vision. Do not underestimate how much you have got to see the future. See that, yes. And the second is condition yourself for change, is that you can't wait for change to show up. I mean, Jim Beam was a great example of that. He wasn't waiting for prohibition to stop. He was building the plans and the strategy. He saw the end coming, so he changed before he had to. And we've got to be proactive with that. But one of my favorite strategies is that I think one of the hardest things to do in an uncertain marketplace is make decisions. You don't know what to invest in or what decision to make. But the way that companies do it in an uncertain marketplace is they use their core values as a litmus test. Yeah. If it aligns to your core values, you pull the trigger and go forward. If it doesn't, you let it go. And I love that strategy because I just think of like a ship trying to decide how to go in the middle of fog. And that's how we are. Yeah. But if you are really clear on your core, then who you are will guide you to the right place.
I think we will see so much more of that in the coming year, because we've sort of stripped away the veneer. There's no more command and control. There's no more of that traditional sort of fear-based leadership. It's like, you got to be a human being. You got to step up with your values. and really show who you are based on that. So tell me if you have an experiment, a little action step to help our listener. Oh man, is this just incredibly loud? Can you hear this outside?
I heard it just a little bit. Now I can't hear it.
Okay. Now you can or cannot?
No, I can't.
Okay. This will be edited. So, yeah. It's so loud. Okay.
What is it?
It's they're tearing a house down behind us. I know, fun. And it comes at random times of the day, whatever stage the workers are at. So Katie, you'll just edit all of this stuff out, and we're just going to chat here for a minute. And we'll pick it up at a certain point when it calms down. Yeah, I'll look out the window and there's like a crane, or a backhoe or something.
Well, I can't hear it right now.
Okay, good. Okay, so let me go to a good startup point.
You were just about to ask me the question about.
Oh yeah, we'll pick it up there. Okay. So with all you've learned about uncertainty, and I've always thought, it's the old, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You really can learn from it. And even in this crazy year, I think we take lessons learned forward with us. So what experiment or what action step could you assign to our listeners so that they can try something to make their future a little bit better? Anything along the lines of your uncertainty and how to thrive through all of that?
Yeah, it's step number 5 in the formula is always where I tell people to start who are a little bit uncertain. That uncertainty can be opportunity, and so the experiment would be that I want you to really take any customers that you have had in the last year. I want you to write down every customer that you've had, and I want you to just make a commitment for the next month. You will reach out to a couple of those customers every single day, and you're just going to check in. You're just going to ask them how they're doing. What are their plans for the coming year? What opportunities do they see? What's their biggest headache? I don't want you to solve a single problem. I don't want you to tell them anything about your business. I just want you to listen, and I want you to take notes, because if you do, you'll start to see themes. You'll start to see things that are going to make you relevant in the marketplace.
Like Procter Gamble.
Exactly. And it is, relevancy is truly the key. So the experiment is, I don't want you to sell anything. I don't want you to tell people the plans that you've got for your business. I just want you to get a little gutsy, and I want you to reach out. And I promise you, if you do, your customers are going to show you the path forward. They're going to show you how to morph your products, how to change your business, and all this confusion you have about where to go, they are going to paint the path. And I know this because it's exactly what happened in my business. So if I had to put you in the leadership lab, that's the experiment that I would give you, because it's going to give you a really quick return on investment. The other is, it's just going to charge you up and get you excited, because you're not only going to be able to help them, but you're going to see your future.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to take that. And also for folks in the corporate world, I think it works just as well with your stakeholders. Just get in touch with somebody inside and say, how you doing? I think it's so important right now, especially to show that level of empathy and communication, and just checking in to say hi and see how you're doing. Yeah. I think that's, again, simple, elegant solution.
Yeah. And it's just, what is so powerful to me is that every time I do it, and I keep doing it, I mean, it's how I started down this whole path.
Right.
But every time I do it, I get another idea. I was shooting a video before we do this podcast, because I like to shoot a weekly video, and I wasn't sure what to shoot. I didn't have a good idea, but I was talking to a client earlier today, and I said, how's it going? They asked me 2 questions. I'm like, I can solve those problems. So it's my constant source of, again, information, but the return on investment is so powerful, because it really helps me how to be relevant in the marketplace.
2 calls a day. I think I could do that if I can do it. And I hate picking up the phone, but I'll do it. Anybody can do it. So Meredith, where do we find more about your book and you and all the awesome things that you're doing right now?
Well, I am a passionate believer that if you build your network, it will change your life. So I truly hope that people will reach out to me, because if you connect with me, I will connect with you. But you can find me at valuespeaker.com, just the words value and speaker.com. If you go to the top of my website, there's a purple bar there called Emerge Successful. Just click on it and you will find it chock full of free tools and resources to help you emerge successful. So find me there, find me on LinkedIn. And again, build your network will change our lives.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And thanks, everybody. I'll see you again next week.